Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the progress I have finally made on what seems to be this just internal project I've been doing. This has been years in the making. We are finally one step closer to proving out a world's first Tokay Gecko. Checking out the little babies going on, how they're doing. I've actually had them for a good chunk of time now, I believe a couple of months. I posted on Patreon. I always forget after I post on Patreon to post on here a little bit later, but we're here now. So I'll be talking about them and going into what the next steps of this process is and how to prove out, well, a world's first Tokay. Real quick before we get this video started, I just wanted to give a shout out over to CPX Reptiles. Now CPX has an absolutely gorgeous Tokay Gecko going on, the Platinum Gene. Now if people don't know much about Tokay genetics, the Platinum Gene is one of the three bangers us, regular Americans can get here in the hobby. You got the Super Reds, the Platinums, and there are some people working with albino, but albinos are a little hard to get. The other two, they're a little bit more rare and the price does reflect it, but it's an absolute amazing Tokay to get your hands on the first floor of breeding Tokay Geckos. This is the Platinum Gene. It was actually produced and proven out over by CPX Reptiles, and here's the thing about it. There's really no one working with it except for him. I think I've seen one or two go on and get passed and sold, but he really, as far as it comes to producing these geckos, it's literally only him. So when it comes to somewhat of an investment opportunity for Tokay Geckos, this is the investment you want to hit. You're gonna have pretty much no competition with getting it, and once you actually produce those heterozygotes from the forms or the visuals, you're gonna have literally no problem selling them. With the rarity and the demand of this animal, it's not gonna be cheap. However, it does seem like the price has dropped a little bit on this gecko versus what I've seen in the past. I believe the last Platinum he had, which I think it was like a year ago or something, I believe I saw somewhere around the 32 to 35 range, and this one is going on the market for $27.50, which is a pretty good steal. What, that's $700 discount? That's pretty awesome. Just sending that out there. It is at a lower cost as well, so maybe this is the time to buy. I don't know. What you guys are thinking? Why doesn't your boy Dakota buy the gecko? Well, I already spent all my money on other Tokay geckos before I realized he had that one out. However, I want to do him a big favor. I want to get someone in my community to go buy that gecko. If you do end up purchasing the animal and you are interested and want to buy it, make sure you mention my name, because I just think it'd be really funny to be like, yeah, I came from Dakota and I'm buying your gecko. I just, that cherry on top. Make sure to do that. That's about it of everything I have. Absolutely gorgeous animal, a very smart investment choice if you are into the business of breeding reptiles. It's a good to go. Link in the description right down there of where you can go to purchase that gecko. Mention my name. Let's get into my Tokays. Heading over into the reptile room, let's take a talk about this Tokay Gecko. This enclosure that I have been working with for so many years. I believe I started this project back in, I want to say like 2019. It was a random pet store find in my local pet store, and it looked very different from what your average Tokay Gecko looked like. Of course, it had those grays with just these little yellow specks going on instead of your average blue base with red spots. And now let me tell you, this was a project that was not easy. This girl was in rough condition, and it took pretty much a year just to get her into a spot where I actually felt comfortable breeding her. Remember, when breeding crested geckos, you really want them nice and fat and plump, because especially with females, if they're even a little bit too skinny, they're gonna crash. You wanna make sure those calcium sacs are good or things can go wrong. And when it comes to a world's first pairing, you can't get another one of these. There's not another one of these well, there is. CPX has one. We're kind of in a race to see who can prove out it first, but you can't find another one of these. He's not gonna sell them to me. He's the only other one I know that actually has something that looks similar to this, so you gotta start it slow, or else if you fail, that's it. You only get one shot. Now, the next spot, which took about a year, maybe it's been longer than 2 years. How long has it been? The next part was finding a correct male for her. Tokay geckos, they're not like crested geckos or New Caledonian stuff where they'll pair easily, the males are gonna go after whatever, the females are gonna be receptive, or, well, gonna become receptive. God, New Caledonian breeding, man, that's rough. They're not like that. I almost compare them more to like the Leachianus geckos, where they almost have to pair off before attempting to breed. And so we did that, and we did that with our normal male. 4, 5, 6 months passed, it didn't work, switched it out with a reduced pattern. 4, 5, 6 months went by, didn't work, no interaction whatsoever, did not like each other. Ended up putting it with the Granite, my biggest male. I really haven't put him in any other project, so I figured, you know what? I'm running out of males. I think we only have like a Green Galaxy after this. Let's put the Granite with Oddball and see what happens. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 months later, man. nothing. Absolutely nothing was going on, and I almost lost hope with this pairing. Actually, in this video right here that I'll post, this was actually supposed to be a video where I was stating they're not doing anything. I'm gonna try my last male on this gecko to see if it will be receptive with this one. However, I believe it was around the 8 to 9 month mark where we finally got it. We got that beautiful, absolutely amazing clutch of eggs. So the wait began around 90 to 100 days for Tokay geckos to hatch, and I just waited in anticipation pretty much once a week, checking on those eggs, making sure that everything, all the husbandry was completely all right, everything was good, the bulbs were good, the missing was good, we weren't getting a single water droplet on those eggs, as I wanted to make sure that these eggs hatched and we could finally prove out that this oddball is in fact a genetic mutation and can be hereditally passed on to its offspring. Well folks, 3 months later, the day finally came and we've got the first and second Tokay babies. However, when they first hatched, they were looking a little bit normal, and I said to myself, just give it time. All babies look like this. The reduced patterns, they all look a little bit normal. Just give it a couple months, everything will be okay. We're gonna get some cool geckos. It's gonna be fine. We paired a granite to an unidentified morph. We can't just get normals. That doesn't make any sense, Dakota. Here we are, around 2 months later, a month and a half later, something around there, I don't know. They're normals. They're blue geckos with red spots, both of them. Yep. 2 years, maybe over 2 years now. Literally since before I even started the DBC Exotics YouTube channel, 350 something videos later, we're here hatching out normal Tokay babies. If that's not a kick in the gut, I honestly don't know what is. Now, here's the thing, folks. All hope is not lost within this project. I am not going home after 2 years of work thinking, well, they just produced normals, that's what it is. A couple of different things can happen here. So, number one, these geckos can change. Of course, they carry the granite gene. We are still very unsure about the granite gene. It does not seem to follow the Mendelian genetics? I suck at words. It doesn't seem to follow it as a simple codom, dominant, recessive mutation, anything like that. The granite is a little bit weird. Now, I have my own opinions on the granite gene, and I might make a separate video about that. However, we are just unsure with how it works. But what we can tell, or what we do tell, is after a period of time, the gecko will actually mutate into that visual, mutation that we're talking about, a granite gene. This is very apparent with Lucky Foot geckos, with Denise. She has a couple of amazing geckos, a couple of granites that she's been producing. Actually, my granite male that I had actually came from over to Lucky Foot geckos. I was gracious enough to actually get a gecko from her from that. So, or that granite gecko. So, it's so strange. It's so odd. So she has had granite geckos that she paired and then repaired doing line breeding, and then it seems 6 months to 3 years is the timeline that we've seen where these geckos slowly undo this color mutation where these red and blues start fading away into black dots and grays. And even to take that one step further, she's actually had granites after a couple years mutate again, a double mutation within the life cycle of one gecko. She's actually witnessed them mutating from granite to pied, a black-eyed leucistic, if you will, a completely white animal with black eyes. I don't know how Denise was feeling over there, but if that was me and I witnessed that, number one, I'd probably have more subs on YouTube because you know I'd be videoing that. And number two, I would just be, I'm speechless, absolutely speechless. How could just one animal mutate 2 times over? One normal to a granite and then a granite to a pied? Absolutely stunning. So there is still a lot we don't know about the granite mutation, and that's really the thing with these babies. Who knows? Maybe they will mutate later on. Maybe in 6 months or 3 years, these geckos will actually turn into granite. We don't know. We don't know if Oddball does the same thing as the granite mutation. Maybe it takes time. Maybe around that 10 to 12 months where they really get their full colors, they'll actually mutate over into that different coloration. Maybe this is just a recessive mutation, much like the pieds over with ball pythons, where it's only heterozygous for that morph. There really is no visual indication, but then when you line breed it back to the mother, you can get a percentage of that clutch being that full visual mutation of what I'm calling oddball. I'm gonna name it something. No, don't coin, I'm not coining oddball. I want a cool name for it. That is the next step over here at DBCB Exotics. We are gonna wait approximately in the 4 to 6 months age where I can accurately sex the animals. If we get the males, they're going back to oddball. If we get females, they're going back to the granite when, of course, they are of size. And at that point, we'll wait probably another 5 years for something to happen with them, and then at that point we'll get eggs. They'll wait 90 more days, they'll hatch, and we'll still get normals, and I will be very disappointed. And well, folks, the oddball project, it's not over yet. But we're hitting another obstacle. There's another detour, a couple more years going in order to figure out this project. I'm not giving up hope. We are gonna get these visual tokays. If it is the last thing I do, I will be 35 finally producing this oddball genetics. But other than that, it's not over with Tokay Gecko babies, actually. We still have a couple more. Let's actually head over to the building. We'll talk about that right now. Okie dokie, folks, heading up into the reptile building now. Everything is nice and calm. We got everything cleaned up, but we're here to talk about some more Tokay babies. And I gotta head to the very end of the building for it. If we look right over here, you can see we did hatch out 2 eggs. Hang on, one. We did hatch out 2 eggs going on over here. This has been a clutch that's been hatched for, oh, I'd say about a month or so. These ones should go here pretty soon. We got a little normal baby. We got Mama, who's not very happy with me pointing my finger. And I'm not too sure. Let's try to, you won't be able to see. There we go. We got a little reduced pattern baby way back there as well. Reduced pattern baby I will be holding back until, sorry, that was tape for the sitter. The reduced pattern baby I will be holding back until around 6 months of age so I can properly sex it. If it's female, I'm holding it back. If it's male, I will be putting it up for sale. However, this guy also will be up for grabs too. This beautiful little Tokay baby. We'll probably give him around another month with the mom, separating for a couple of weeks, and then at that point we will put him up for sale. So 1 Tokay baby. Entire 2021 year, I've produced probably 20 crested geckos, a handful of gargoyles, some cave geckos, but just 2 Tokay babies so far. Oh, the other ones. Okay, 4 Tokays in total, with 1 probably being only for sale. All was not my year for Tokay geckos. However, we got a couple surprises. If you guys are interested in Tokay geckos, we got a lot of stuff coming down. And number 1 is actually we are bringing the Tokay tent back. If you guys don't remember, I have this video right here where we did it with a 6x4. We actually ended up using it, I believe we used it for the Argus monitor because they were outgrowing their vivs. I needed something else, so I moved those back inside. That didn't work out, so I moved them back into the building again. And now we're getting another tent. This one's gonna be very cool. It's gonna be a 5 foot by 5 foot by 6 foot, one of those house looking ones. I won't get too much into detail. That'll be another video for another day, but very exciting stuff. That's gonna probably be coming out next week, I believe, because I'm getting it on Friday, something like that. But yeah, good Tokay Gecko stuff. We got to see the world's first, and some babies. God, I've really produced like virtually 0 Tokays this year. What a bummer of a year, man. It's a strange time in a breeder's life when you produce more babies your first year versus your 3rd year of doing it. It's that's not how it's supposed to work. So obviously we're gonna have to iron out some stuff. We're not doing something right, so I'll have to tweak some stuff. Hopefully next year we're gonna get a couple more girls going and we'll get a lot more Tokay babies. That's my prediction. 2022, we'll get more than a clutch of Tokay geckos. That's a promise. All right, folks, other than that, that's gonna wrap up the video for today. But as always, if you'd like to see some more amazing pictures of animals or check out the animals I have for sale, you can check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you wanna check out the animal stuff, it's mostly on Facebook and TikTok. We also have this rad merch that I'm wearing right now. You can see that right below the YouTube. I got a whole little Teespring thing right down there. You can check that out as well. Of course, last but certainly not least, we have Patreon. Patreon.com/DBCBExotic. This is where you get the updates on everything that's going on within my breeding business. This includes a plethora of projects such as my Argus monitors, the Tokay geckos, ball pythons, New Caledonian stuff, a lot of stuff. A lot of different projects are coming in with DBCB Exotics. You don't want to miss it. Over at Patreon, you get the first things on what's going on. And the fact that there are even higher tiers where you get this is just slightly blurry. Not to mention higher tiers in the fact that you can get discounts even on the animals I produce. It's all well and good. First dibs on babies, first look at the business. It's a fun time, so as low as $1 a month. You can check it out in the link in the description below. And other than that, folks, thank you so much for taking the time in your day to follow me on this beautiful journey I love to call DBCB Exotics. We will see you next time, but until then, goodbye.